It's prime time for fun in the water. Joining us for some safety reminders when we hit the lake or pool, as well as how to avoid the dangers of heat and staying safe during the storm, is Tracy Dethlefs-Rademacher, Trauma Outreach Coordinator for CHI Health, Good Samaritan Hospital of Kearney. As families take to the water this summer to cool off, there is a reason for using some extra caution around water. Tracy, what can you tell us about some water safety?
Yes, Paul. About 800 kids drown each year, and more than half of those are under the age of 5, with the most common occurrences happening between May and August. There are a lot of persistent misconceptions when it comes to drowning. We think that we're going to hear if our child gets in trouble in the water and starts to drown. We have to remember that drowning can be silent. In real life, there can be very little splashing, waving, or screaming. Always keep an eye on your kids when they're in and around water. Another misconception is that we think nothing bad can happen if we take our eyes off our kids just for a couple of minutes. But drownings can be quick. The reality is that once a child begins to struggle, parents may have less than a minute to react. Keep your younger children within arm's reach of an adult at all times. Even older kids and adults should swim with a buddy. The third misconception is we think that a lifeguard at the pool is there to watch our child. But the reality is that a lifeguard's job is to enforce the pool rules, scan, rescue, and resuscitate, not keep an eye on any one specific child. Adults always be alert and responsible for your child. And lastly, if you're at any type of pool party, assign a water watcher so that everyone is clear who's watching the kids at any given time. That person should be rotated frequently and be undistracted while on their shift.
Summer temperatures can be all over the place, but mostly on that warm to hot side, and that summer heat can quickly put outdoor workers at risk. Tracy, what are some things that we need to be on the lookout?
In extreme heat, high humidity, or physical exertion under the sun, the body may not be able to sufficiently dissipate or get rid of that heat that can cause a body temperature to rise, sometimes reaching as high as 106 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. These extremes can lead to heat exhaustion, heat cramps, or even a heat stroke. Another potential risk factor is dehydration. Confusion, agitation, slurred speech, seizures, and coma can all result from a heat stroke. Some recommended strategies to cool off include drinking plenty of fluid, but try to avoid caffeine and alcohol as they can actually make the situation worse. Remove any tight or unnecessary clothing. Try to wear something loose if possible. Try to take a cool but not cold shower or bath, or apply other cooling measures such as fans or cool and wet towels. If you can avoid a heat stroke, recovering from heat exhaustion may still take up to 24 to 48 hours. Depending on the severity, you may need to be hospitalized so that doctors can monitor your fluids and electrolyte levels to avoid complications. It's much better to try to avoid these extremes instead of dealing with the consequences later.
Joined right now by Trauma Outreach Coordinator Tracy Dethlefs-Rademacher at CHI Health, Good Samaritan Hospital of Kearney, and discussing the ways that you can enjoy summer in a safe way. Tracy, we have already seen plenty of severe weather. I'm sure there's more to come. What can you tell us to get ready for storms?
Well, summer is the typical season for tornadoes and severe weather, and being prepared can make a big difference in the health and security of your family. Take some time to review the basics, including assembling an emergency supply kit. Keep these tips in mind as well. Tornadoes can present a major safety concern this time of year. Keep on top of current and developing weather by regularly checking with the National Weather Service or KRVN's website for updates. When seeking shelter from a storm, wear good shoes that cover your feet and make use of any helmets that you might have handy. That could be a bike helmet, motorcycle helmet, or even a football helmet. While cell phones and computers are a great way to get the news and weather updates in a storm emergency, it's also a good idea to have a backup crank radio in case you don't have access to power or cell service, and make sure you're keeping your cell phones fully charged. And don't forget, the safest place in a storm is the lower level of your house or an interior room with no windows, possibly a bathroom or a closet. Cover up with any blankets or cushions if possible. And if you live in a trailer house, seek alternative shelter immediately. It's always a good idea to plan ahead before bad weather gets too close.
Tracy, what can you offer for a last word?
With summer always showing a spike in injuries as a result from ATV and side-by-side usage, just a quick reminder for everyone using these vehicles. Follow the simple rules of the road, slow down, and use any safety equipment for that vehicle, like a helmet or a seatbelt, to avoid more serious injuries. Stay safe, everyone.
Thanks, Tracy. That's Tracy Dethlefs-Rademacher, Trauma Outreach Coordinator at CHI Health, Good Samaritan Hospital of Kearney, offering some great advice for water safety, avoiding heat exhaustion, and being ready for severe storms. To hear this interview and many others, you can check out our podcast page at krvn.com.